I saw a figure in my bedroom at night. This is an X post from Paranormal Experience. I am reposting this here, as it originally went unnoticed. This is one of the most terrifying things to have happened to me, although after writing it and reading it, it doesn't sound as scary as I remember it. Anyways, here it is. We live on the top floor of an old apartment building in a college town. The apartments have been here for many years, 40-something years. They're dark, with dark carpet, long hallways, and no light fixtures in the bedrooms. Our bedroom is the largest, and is at the end of a long hallway. My wife insists on sleeping with the door closed. Our bedroom is also the darkest room in the apartment. It has one window, which overlooks the parking lot. Our bed sits in the middle of the floor. My wife sleeps on the window side, and I sleep on the closet side of the bed. We sleep with a fan on to provide some white noise. At night, our bedroom is even darker. With the blinds closed and the blackout curtains, a small amount of glow comes through the parking lot street lamps. On this particular night, I woke up from a very sound sleep at around 2 a.m. The room was just barely illuminated, as usual by the streetlights. The constant humming of the fan always plays tricks on my mind. I hear things, faint voices sometimes, whispers, buzzing and popping. Almost every night, I tell myself this is all in my head. I was lying in bed half awake, trying to remember if my son had sent me his nightly text. I reached to my nightstand and picked up my phone. The time was just after 2 a.m. I confirmed that he had texted me. I noticed the air in the bedroom was heavy. I was hearing whispers and the white noise again, babbling gibberish. While lying on my back, I had imagined seeing tiny little lights blinking on the ceiling. These lights seemed to illuminate a human-looking face in the textured plaster. This had to be my imagination. For some reason, I suddenly felt scared and vulnerable, for lack of a better word. At this time, I rolled over and spooned my wife. She was lying on her right side facing the window, holding her arm. Little body close to mine always comforts me. Lying on my side now, I opened my eyes and immediately thought I could see something different about the window. I blinked hard and took another look. I could distinctly make out a very tall, dark, humanoid shape standing inside the bedroom in front of the window, partially obscured by the curtains. I was immediately freaking terrified. I blinked again. When I took another look, my worst fears were confirmed, as the figure sidestepped into the center of the window, being slightly illuminated from behind. I could see that it was dark, tall, large, with a non-human, and creating complete panic in the air. Thinking that this was just ridiculous, I blinked again. When I opened my eyes this time, the monster was one step closer to the bed. It was within 15 feet of me. I blinked again. It was a step closer. I started screaming and shaking my wife. She wouldn't wake up. It was now one step closer, and I was completely losing my shit. I shook my wife hard and screamed her name again. "Turn on the light! Turn on the light! Turn on the light!" I screamed. I was standing right beside the bed now. She startled awake and turned on her bedside lamp. It instantly disappeared. There was nothing there. I was completely out of breath and gasping for air. My pulse was rapid. I was too terrified to be embarrassed. My hands were trembling. She held me until I calmed down. I told her what I had seen. She believed me. She always does. I've had similar things happen to me my entire life. Something followed me from since I was a child, from the bedroom of my childhood home to my first apartment, my first house, and every home since then. This doesn't sound too bad now that I reread it, but that night when it happened, I was a mess. It was real. Weird things keep occurring in my bedroom. I posted my first post a while back, around Christmas time, and strange things happening in my house. I thought I'd share to not only get it off my chest so I don't think I'm going mad, but to try and get some reassuring explanations for what's been happening. Recently, I've noticed a peak in these events, and in general feel very uneasy in my bedroom at night again. Last night was the worst, by a mile. I was lying in bed around 3 a.m., as I previously could not sleep. It was semi-dark as the TV had gone on standby, but I hadn't turned it off, so it was just a blank black-gray screen. I thought I saw something move near the door, but I just put that down to semi-tiredness and seeing shadows in the dark. I was laying down thinking about the events of the day when I felt something grab my hip. It startled me so much that I actually jumped and my whole body shook. I thought it was odd, but that maybe my hair or duvet had touched my back and hip, and I presumed it was something else. About 5 minutes later, I locked my phone after looking at a few notifications. I'm thinking about what I have to do tomorrow when my entire body moves. It feels as if someone grabbed my ankles and pulled me. I knew I wasn't imagining it because my head was yanked off the pillow. And I know it wasn't sleep paralysis because I immediately jumped up to look around my room and could move my entire body again. Something didn't feel right, and I really started to freak out. I immediately looked to the corner of my room again, and immediately felt uneasy. Other things have been happening to my mom, and she said she for certain saw someone walk into the kitchen and went in to talk to me, thinking it was me, only to see no one there. I was standing in the kitchen the other day, and it felt like someone grabbed my arm. I keep hearing someone walk up the stairs, but when I look, nothing, or no one is there. These experiences are really starting to scare me. Something told me to check on my niece. My sister was going through a horrible depression after she gave birth to her twin girls. She was staying at my parents', and at the time, I had moved back for a little while too. While I was there, I helped out with the girls as much as I possibly could. I basically became a second mom to them for 6 months of their life. We're still very, very close. I had the baby monitor in my room in case one of my nieces needed anything. Even though my sister was right in the room, I needed to get up with them any time during the night. I was getting ready for bed, and it was pretty late at night. I just hopped into bed when I heard my name screamed over the intercom, "Angela!" I rolled my eyes out of frustration, hoping she'd just deal with the girls herself tonight. But then I heard my name being yelled again over the intercom. I remember thinking the voice sounded a little weird, but didn't really think much of it. I dragged my tired body out of bed and walked into my sister's bedroom. The room was dark, and my sister was sound asleep. I looked into both of the cribs and saw one of the babies was missing. I was perplexed because I saw no baby beside my sister. The idea that my mom must have heard one of the girls' cries in the middle of the night and grabbed them popped into my head, so I went into their room to get a peek. I looked all around the bed. No baby. Now I'm really confused. I walked back into my sister's bedroom, and this thought just popped into my head. Check underneath your sister's body. I walked over to my sister and rolled her to her side, and I found my niece sleeping soundly underneath my sister. She was so out of it, she didn't even wake up when I moved her. I don't know who screamed my name that night or what, but I know it wasn't my sister or anyone else in my family. Sorry if my story doesn't read smoothly. I'm not a very good writer. I just had to share my experience. My sister saw a woman sitting on my bed. This happened around 14 years ago, and my sister swears that it's truly what she saw. My sister and I used to share the same bedroom. We had our study desks in the bedroom as well, and we would sometimes stay up late for some last-minute exam cramming. So, I decided to go to bed that one night and turn off the bedroom light, whilst my sister sat at her desk studying with her desk lamp on. After maybe an hour or so of studying, she happened to look back at my bed and saw a woman with long black hair sitting on my bed. Thinking it was me, I had long black hair too. So she asked, "I thought you went to bed. Why are you sitting there?" And almost immediately, she saw my body on my bed, sleeping still. She was really spooked by this and walked out of the room. Thanks a lot, sis, for leaving me in there with that woman. When she was brave enough to return to our room, the woman was gone. She only told me about this incident the next day. It hid in the dark. I have a sister called Abby, who is only 2 years older than me, and we're very close. When we were both younger, our mother bought a small bungalow that was pretty run down, but I guess that's all she could afford. Our dad passed away a few years before that happened. So, Abby and I had to share a bedroom, and we had bunk beds. Abby somehow thought because she was older, she wanted the top bunk. Good thing too, because I would have probably rolled out of the bed or fallen out. We also had a small TV in the bedroom too, that our mom would put Disney films on for us while we were winding down to sleep. My mom says it was when I was around 5 years old, Abby must have been 7 or 8, that I would come into her bedroom and tell her that I can't sleep. She chalked it up to me just wanting attention and would more often than not let me sleep in her bed with her. I kept going to her nights on end when she finally gave up and asked what was so bad that I couldn't sleep in my own bed. I told her that while I was laying there, with all my stuffed rabbits and toys, that something kept trying to talk to me and grab my cover from the small gap between the bed and the wall. I said whatever it was coming from under the bed. My mom said I could sleep in her bed that night again, but in the morning, she sat Abby down and told her strictly to stop messing with her younger sister. She thought Abby was just trying to freak me out or telling me scary stories, and Abby denied everything. She denied it so much that they got into an argument, and we didn't have a Disney film that night as punishment. I can remember it clearly because it was the very first time I couldn't explain something. I laid there, and I was whispering at Abby, asking if she was annoyed at me and if I could sleep in her bed for the night. Abby kindly said yes, as I couldn't face going to see Mom as we were already in trouble. So the next night, I'm back in Abby's bed, and our mom comes in to put a Disney film on again. She asks why I'm in there, and I say the usual thing under the bed, keeping me awake. Our mother said she just about had it and stormed out. She was back in a few seconds, and had bought some more pillows from her own bedroom, and planned on sleeping in my bed to prove that nothing was going to happen. She turned the TV off and told us to go to bed straight away. Sometime in the night, she woke us both up and explained that she couldn't sleep due to the bed being very small, and we could both watch TV downstairs as a treat. The next day, she had gotten us a glitter nightlight and shoved whatever she could find underneath my bed. She told Abby and I to play outside while her and our aunt went into the bedroom. Whatever it was, stopped. Years later, I was 13 years old at my cousin's birthday party. My cousin Nicole thought it was a great idea to make a homemade board and use a glass cup to contact someone, aka a Ouija board. So, Nicole was in the process of writing out yes, no, and the alphabets out on paper when my mother grabbed it all. "Don't play with stuff like that!" And she straight away put it in the bin. Of course, we asked why, as we followed her into the living room. She sat us down and retold the story that I'm typing out now. But she added a bit onto it. She said that night, when she was laying in my bed, just about ready to doze off, is when the cover started to feel as though it was slipping under the bed. She grabbed onto it and doubled it up underneath her and started to doze off yet again. The cover got yanked, and she said, whatever it was, yanked it with some force, much larger than two small kids could carry out. By now she was fully awake, and she put her hand to the space between the wall and the bed, and she could feel a slight breeze coming from that very, very space. She was frozen with fear and couldn't move when the breeze that she felt seemed to hover overhead. She swears that an animal human-like voice said to her in her ear, "You're not her." My mother used all she had and jumped straight up and turned on the light. After searching everywhere underneath the bed, checking the window in case someone maybe had broken in, and even searching behind the curtains and wardrobes, in the end, she finds nothing. And it was that. She started to fear for all three of us while we were in that bedroom. In the end, she couldn't sleep and she didn't want us out of her sight. So, that night, this one time, she allowed us to watch TV downstairs with her. Of course, we both fell asleep on the sofa, which still makes me think, what was under the bed?